Make sure you have some sort of breathing protection on, because this stuff, you don't want it inside your lungs. It is muy bad-o. Sup, bro chachos? Now, as you see by the title of today's video, we are going to be teaching you how to custom make a low profile carbon fiber license plate mount for super cheap and really nice. It's going to have titanium goodness and all. But before we do that, make sure to
hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of our videos.
What he just said. On that note, let's go ahead and roll the intro. So as you can see here on our H2, we have this big old hunk of crapola. Now yes, while there is Fender Eliminator kits out there, we don't like the look of those, right, Miguel?
Not at all.
The reason being is because they're not really low pro ones, at least for this bike. They're not low pro ones, and we like to custom make our own stuff here, especially because we can use carbon fiber as material and titanium for super cheap that we buy off of Amazon and eBay. Let me show you what we're going to be working with. Now, there's a few things that you're going to need for this job, and everything we're going to include in the description box below with links. Make sure to click those links. It helps with support all of my addictions. First thing you're going to need is carbon fiber. Now, depending on the state that you're in is going to depend on the size of carbon fiber that you're going to need. I recommend going with a thicker one. I think this is 3 millimeters or something like that. It's a 3 millimeter one,
That's
I believe.
Really big, wow.
The width here and the actual size of this thing is dependent on your state's license plate. So, Jesus, it's all falling all over the place. God damn it. Now we got it all to stay. So, I'm in Florida, and so our Florida motorcycle license plates are perfect size for this carbon fiber plate that we have here. And like I said, I'll include links and specs all in the description box below. So don't focus on that part right now. So this is the first thing you're gonna need. And of course, as you can see here, you're gonna need to draw out this, but I'll walk you through that. The other thing you're going to need is some gel Gorilla Glue. Why? Well, if you've been watching the channel for some time, you know that once you carbon fiber, this becomes open and kind of like porous and frayed up and all this stuff. You use this to kind of like keep it all nice and pretty on the sides. It works really good. This stuff's good. The other thing you're gonna need is some screws to hold your license plate on to this piece that you're now fabricating. I picked titanium because why not? It makes you go faster. Everybody knows that. Duh. And then lastly, only two more things you're gonna need. You're gonna need some spacers. You don't have to buy this whole kit. You can go to your local hardware store and just pick up the spacers that you're gonna need for your build. I just bought the whole kit because we do this for ourselves and for lots of friends. That's why I got the whole kit. You're also gonna need these like type of screws with the beveling. I don't know if you could catch that in there, Miguel, but that kind of like downward beveling. I know there's a fancy name for this. What are they called again? Countersunk. I knew there was a name for them. Countersunk screws. You're gonna need a set of these too, okay? So that's all you're gonna need to make yourself a low pro mount, and we're gonna show you how you fabricate this all up. So let's get to it. All right, now first things first, at least on ours, is we're gonna need to remove this whole bracketing system here. Let's go ahead and pop this off of our maybe 600cc bike. By the way, we are trained idiots. So if you decide that you're gonna do this modification, you're doing it at your own risk based on your laws. If you get ticketed or arrested, or I don't know, like anything bad happens to you, don't blame us, because we're just trained idiots.
A few moments later.
What a freaking difference this made. What do you think?
It looks so much more slick. I like it.
Right? I feel like it came out really, really good. It just like really gives the back end of the bike just this mean, aggressive look now. So now that you'll have your factory tail system or fender off of your bike, now what you'll want to do is trace your license plate onto the carbon fiber. In this case scenario, we are using forged carbon fiber. There's twill carbon fiber that you can get, also included in the link in the description box below if that's the route you want to go. The theme of my build will be based on forged carbon fiber, so that's why I'm using forged carbon fiber to do this. Then you'll simply trace out the frame onto the carbon fiber, as well as the 4 holes in which this will be mounted to. We'll start with that, so let's go ahead and get these cuts on this thing, then we'll move on to our next step. Muy importante, before you go and start cutting into carbon fiber, make sure you have some sort of breathing protection on, because this stuff, you don't want it inside your lungs. It is muy bad-o, all right? So wear some protection over your mouth. This is. Alrighty then. Now that we have this cut out all perfect and nice, and it perfectly fits our license plate, as you can see there, now what we need to do is we need to mock this thing up onto the bike and position it where we want it. Now just to show you all that the forged carbon fiber piece is on the bike and it is perfectly centered to where we want it. Now what we're gonna do is come over here and in these holes, just make our markings with a needle so we know exactly where they're at. We're gonna do the same with the bottom ones, and then we'll go to drilling those out as well. It's pretty flat. And now it is perfect. And man, Miguel, that came out really nice.
It really did.
Yeah, now what we'll do is we'll run a bead of super glue over this. Man, that thing looks freaking like factory-like.
Yeah, wow.
Now just let that bead run all the way down, even kind of help it out a little bit. All right, super glued all of the edges, came out good. Also super glued where we countersunk the screws, and I gotta clean this piece up a little bit with some isopropyl alcohol. Other than that, came out good, brochachos. Now, time to get this thing on the bike. So, I made these schematics for you guys and this template. This is a template that, of course, you guys can make yourself. The way that you make this is literally by tracing out on the factory one this piece. The benefit of doing this is, let's say you don't want to mount your license plate on your bike at all and you literally have a track bike and you're good with just a complete delete system. You could fabricate yourself up using the same carbon fiber a plate. And I'll show you here. Right under this, basically, because it's the exact same thing, this, not this paper, of course, you would make this out of carbon fiber, but this would just cover this right over here, and then you'd put your screws in, and you'd be done with it. And then you have your full track bike set up. And then these, I don't know if you all can see all the math there, these are done in millimeters, but this is basically a schematic of the tailplate system that Miguel and I fabricated for this build. Alrighty then. So all nice, all ready to go for you guys. Of course, you can pause your screen right now and you have all of your math here that you need. Remember, this is for a Florida plate. It's not gonna be for every motorcycle plate, but y'all get the gist of it. Now, let's go ahead and get this thing on the bike. Now on these titanium license plate screws, or what we're calling license plate screws, I recommend putting a little bit of blue Loctite on these, just in case for vibrations. Or you can go and get some M8 lock washers, and actually, Miguel, maybe this is something we should do, and insert the nylon piece into this, and then that'll make it a lock washer. But for now, we're going to use some blue Loctite because that's what we got on hand. So far, so good, right?
Yeah.
I think it came out, it's coming out looking really nice.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming, especially with the titanium on it, it'll pop.
Yep. I agree. All in all, this thing came out super nice, super badass, really happy with it. Impressed is the word I'm looking for. We also saved a crap load of weight, although we are gonna custom fabricate some turn signals, so you're gonna have to stay tuned in for that video. They're gonna be super, super nice. Promise you, you will not see it anywhere else. This will be the only H2 with these modifications. Obviously, because we're custom fabricating this stuff. We probably saved here, I don't know, this feels like a pound, although some of this cabling, especially this can't weigh more than a couple of ounces anyways though, but some of this cabling right here, this harness, we're gonna need to tap into for our new setup, but boy, is it gonna look clean. On that note, it wouldn't be a Bertini video without us taking this thing on the road. Unfortunately, it is very late at night. So, Miguel, we're gonna have to take it out on the road tomorrow. Mañana, and no, you're not riding. With that being said, stay tuned in, jabronis.
I swear, getting on this freaking H2 always brings me a smile from ear to ear. There's something just about this bike, man. The sounds, the whole experience. That's what this bike is. This bike is an experience. I was telling a few friends of mine, this bike is literally witchcraft. It feels like it constantly has a spell on me. It is such a weird feeling, and I feel like the only people who can relate with something like that is people who just have that one bike that just encapsulates them all the time. Like, you're not thinking about anything but this bike when you're on this bike. Oh my God, and it sounds so good. This thing sounds so freaking nice. I think this custom Fender Delete came out so nice. That forged carbon fiber just pops. It's lightweight, you lose a ton of weight, you have a really sleek design. Now you're gonna have to stay tuned in. Oh man, every time. You're gonna have to stay tuned in for one of our next videos where we show you how to do some custom turn signals for your bike. Stay tuned in for that video. It's gonna be a really, really dope project. On that note, if you found this video useful or entertaining, please hit that like button. And if you have not yet joined the Bertini fam, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the notification bell. This way you can stay up to date on all of our build series content. Make sure you're putting out good energy into the world and you're paying it forward. I'll check y'all out later. Bye now.